We're back to episode 12 of Court IQ. We're breaking down professional level pickleball matches, trying to extract some key fundamental concepts that we can take into our rec and tournament games to improve us from a 3-0 to a 4-0 or a 4-0 to a 5-0. My name is Ryan Morneau. I'm the #1 collegiate singles player in the country and a top 5 collegiate doubles player in the country. And today, we have a really interesting match over on the APP Tour between two established pros in Richard Livornese and Tanner Tomasi, who have won some of these tournaments, and two up-and-coming pros in Len Yang and Tomasi, who are very good and have a pretty unique style of play. So this is going to be a really interesting match, and before we kind of move this forward, I want to just give you some context. So in the first game, Livornese and Tomasi, they kind of showed their dominance as I watched it through, and in the second game, Tomasi and Len Yang, they got out to a really hot start, and although they won 13-11, the back half of that second match was really dominated by Livornese and Tomasi. So we have a lot of momentum, I would say, pretty neutral actually, because we have two good teams going into a third match, and as you're going to see, Len Yang and Tomasi, very unique style, not a lot of drive and crash, a lot of flicks, a lot of hand speed, and on the other side, we have a little more traditional professional level play. So this is going to be really interesting, and I can't wait to get into it. So with that being said, let's get into this right now. Len is a sponsored YOLA player, and that's why you'll see him with everything YOLA. Richard Livornese, just so you know, is engaged contracted. And then Tomasi, I believe is YOLA contracted as well, but I'm not sure. And same with Tanner Tomasi. He may be on a carbon contract, which I always think is an interesting dynamic. So here we go. This is from a few weeks ago, just for some context, but I think what you're going to see a ton of from Len and Thomas, both players. Actually, I've played against all four players in these courts in tournament level play, and I have a feeling you're going to see one, if not zero, drives from Len Yang and Tomasi. They're very good at thinking, speed ups, hand speed, stuff like that. So as you can, we take this point back. This is just kind of maybe a tight error in Game 3. I like him going for it, though. He gets Tanner Tomasi jumping, which is always a good sign. But now we have 1-2-1, really getting into the match here. And a missed serve. And you can tell that's definitely a little bit of tightness, as they are the 1 seed in this tournament, Livornese and Tomasi are, as I believe Monroe and Howells, being Jack Monroe and Will Howells, are not playing in this tournament. And here we go. Yeah, so you're going to see Len Yang take a ton of backhands. His hands are incredible, as you see there. And we'll go back and break this down, but you're going to see a ton of flicks and a ton of hands from this team, this 8-seed team. So let's just back this up. First of all, you can see that Len Yang's taking almost everything he can out of the air with this backhand. And just so you notice, just so you understand the different constructs of players and their grips, if we look at Len Yang's hand on a paddle right now, we have a backhand grip. He is looking to flick all the time. So if he gets a speed up through the middle, he doesn't have to change grips, but his forehand is weaker because his grip is favoring his backhand. So that's something to keep in mind. And as we see here, he likes to take a lot of the balls out of the air because his grip allows him to do that and get a little more reach. And all of these, these hands, it's just so good because of that backhand grip he has. It really allows him to overextend in his backhand and have some really nice shots. And we see a Tomasi cleaning up the point there. It's going to be hard to go at at Len Yang. And don't let him fool you. While they may be an 8 seed and you may not hear much of him, he has one of the best flicks and one of the best hands in the entire world. Another interesting dynamic is the two lefties, right? So we have a lefty in Tanner Tomasi. Then Tomasi is also a lefty. Thomas probably being the best singles player on this court. He is very good. And we had a good battle one time where he got the best of me in a tight third game. But he is a very good player. And let's back this up because I think this is so good. So this is a really good speed up on this court. Richard Livornese, he's going to be your best player on this court. Most experienced, probably the most winning player on this court. And he's going to look for a speed up here. And what I like about this is it goes to the left hip of Tomasi, and that's really tough for a lefty because think about it, right? If he has to slide into the middle, he's now taking away Len Yang's forehand. So that's something he doesn't want to do. But that means he has to open up on his left hand and make it a little bit awkward. And as you can see here, either option is going to lead to a forehand for either Richard Livornese or Tanner Tomasi, as they have that righty-lefty combo in the middle. So really good job. A bit of an off-speed sit up there out of Rich. And now we have 2-0-2. And let's just, I just want to note this, right? So this ball, I talked about Len Yang's grip, but let's look at it again. Look at that there. He is holding that paddle so high up on the grip, he can't drive that ball really. He doesn't play singles. He doesn't have a drive really. He has a really, really fantastic drop, contrary to what you see here. But I just want to point out that this grip that Len uses, while it has its pros at the net, the cons, they come from the baseline because he's restricted to basically only third shot drops, whether it be a slice or whether it be topspin. And just an error here, nothing to harp on. I just wanted to point out the grip and its advantages and disadvantages, which you'll see play out more throughout the match. I like this out of Tomasi. Yeah, this is so good out of Tomasi here. So first of all, we talked about this last week, right? So this ball, and where do you go with this ball? Well, we talked about when you have a righty-lefty and mixed, a righty-righty and mixed, you want to go to the left foot of the right side player. So in this case, it'd be Tanner Tomasi's left foot, or the right side of the the right foot of the left side player. But this time, Tanner Tomasi here, you're going to see in pink, he's a lefty. So this option doesn't become as good anymore. So what does Tomasi decide to do? He goes at the outside foot, the backhand of Livornese, which I don't love. But then he goes right down that middle area to the left foot, to his credit, of the right side player. But it's just a lefty, so it's not as effective. The alternative is going wide, which isn't the best alternative either. But this is the strength of the righty-lefty combo. It's this put-away shot becomes so much harder because the middle is now covered by two forehands. And probably the forehand is the best shot of both of these players, which makes the resets much more consistent. And for Tanner Tomasi, as we see here, he's able to turn that defense into offense as he gets the head down of Len Yang, right? Len Yang's head is down, and like we said, because of this grip he uses, Tanner knows that this likely won't be a speed up off the bounce on his forehand. And he takes advantage of that, moves to the net, and is able to find a flick here and win the point. So really, really strong on Tanner Tomasi there all around. A lot of moving parts in that point, but one of the things that I really want to harp on is this righty-lefty combo. A lot of people talk about the advantages of having it, and that's one of the main ones. It's really hard to put a wet ball away on that combo. And here we go. So this is something you're not going to see out of Tomasi and Len Yang, this driving crash. But Rich and Tanner, they have no problem doing it, and Tanner's letting them know. Look at this, right? So we know that Len Yang, he has this really heavy backhand grip, like I've been saying. But this doesn't mean he can't hit a forehand. But it just plays in one of these factors that when Tanner Tomasi sees that Len Yang's feet aren't set and he gets a forehand, that's his cue to go hunting because he knows that Len's backhand is really strong. He might not want to poach on that. On his forehand, though, that gives him the green light. He's able to go find it. To his credit, really good hands by Thomas and Lang, but just too strong on Tomasi, and he's getting fired up. Here we go. Now we have 2-2, I believe, on the 1. And let's see how these longer dink rallies play out. Because this is, in my opinion, where the match is going to be won at the kitchen line. Because it's tough. Thomas and Len are very good from this area, especially with this righty-lefty combo. Yeah, this is really good play. You can see they're picking on Tomasi. And that's by design, right? Well, like I said, Richard is one of the best players in the court. He is the best player in the court. So they're going to pick on Tomasi, especially his backhand. And just make him make decisions. And I really like this at a Len, because this could be a speed up, right? Because, I mean, if we see, Tanner's feet weren't exactly set, but we're in the third match. They've seen 20 of these by now from Len. And Tanner and Richard, they're both kind of expecting a speed up. So he goes a bit of off speed, and now Tanner has to make a decision. I can speed this up? And Len's almost like, yeah, please do. My hands are, I trust my hands more than anyone. Try me. I dare you. And he does, and he doesn't even get there. But it's just something that's so good on a Len that switches up the variety what he's been going for. And Tanner, he's not happy because he knows that that's a shot he can make. I just don't know either way if it would have been successful. And here we are at 2-2-2. And let's see. I really like that drop. And now we're, again, these are the points that are going to define the match. Ooh. So Tomasi, he decides to go at Rich. And, I mean, look at these hands. While he's not going to win that every time, I really like this poke. And it's kind of a backhand, two-hander poke out of a lefty. And, Rich is actually all over it. And it's just unreal hands from Thomas to stand there, not move his feet, and get a hand on the ball. And he ends up winning the point. So a really good test early out of Tomasi. And so far we've seen in this match 3, they've been winning the points at the net. That's going to be a big swing factor in this match. Now we're at 2-2-1 for the other side with the 8 seed on the attack now. Let's see. It clearly sees that they're kind of targeting the two lefties at the kitchen line, at least when they're going at each other. Oh, that is nasty. Is that in, though? No, it is not. So we're going to get a timeout. Oh, or a weird camera angle. That works, too. We're going to skip through that. Here we go. 3-2-1. This is a big swing point, actually, for momentum here. Again, you're going to see that Len does not let a lot bounce, and it's by design. Oh, and he goes for this off-speeder again, and he's 0 for 2 on this so far, but what it's going to do, keep this in mind, right? This is going to come into effect later. He's setting up these kind of shots, and later in the match, he's going to use this kind of deception and this setup of even these missed shots to his advantage later in the match. I can almost promise it. Here we go, 3-2-2 now. Again, this is a very drivable ball, right? This is one of the disadvantages of this grip and not being or having a singles drive in your bag is, look at, right? Tanner Tomasi, he's coming to the net, and this ball is going to land short. In my opinion, this should always be a drive out of Len Yang to kind of test Tomasi as he's so far back, and he's going to have to hit a really good volley reset while his feet are still moving. But because Len doesn't really have that in his bag, it just leads to an unfortunate error. And even if he makes that shot, it's just not really maximizing your percentage of wins or percentage of error forced onto the opponent in that situation. So there's pros and cons of every single play style, every grip, and it's our job here to let you know of them and how to expose them. Here we go. We're back in this pattern. It's really going, this right side to right side player or this left side to left side, as no one in this match is fearful. But again, Richard just showing his utmost dominance in this court. I mean, that is beautiful. And he knows it too. I mean, I'm going back with a smirk on my face if I hit that shot right through the middle. And again, Len's looking for this backhand counter. That's his best shot. Rich knows that. And this time, he goes right through the middle right here. So look, we can see Len, he's holding out this backhand. So he wants to get a backhand counter because it's one of the best in the world, right? He has an amazing backhand counter, flick, everything backhand he's killer at. Rich knows this. He doesn't give him it. He goes to the middle, and it's just a fantastic shot to get a point and bring it to 3-3-1. And now we have Tomasi to serve. Both teams are trying to unwind the stack here. Obviously easier on offense as you just have to move the server. This is something I get in trouble with a lot. It's this full swing, and it's high risk, high reward. So Tanner does a great job of recognizing that Rich hits not a great shot. This is going to be a speed up out of Tomasi, and Tanner's almost the first one to recognize it. So really good job there. But what I get myself in trouble on, and what so many others do, including Tanner here, is look at this paddle. It's going to come behind his hip. And when the paddle becomes behind your hip, that's when it becomes a swing, right? If he was to shorten his swing and get it before it went behind his shoulder or behind his hip, that becomes then kind of a hands movement, a quick hands. This time, as you can see, as we move this forward, he backs his whole arm up and goes for a full swing, which leads to an error. So not his fault that he missed that because his partner set him up poorly anyway. But one of the things that is really tough is not trying to full swing there and just get a hand on the ball. I like it. So again, this is the advantage of that Tomasi and Tanner have. Len's moving to the net, and first of all, Rich does a good job. He's eyeing that thing down, and he's going to kind of circle in here and make a move. Tomasi does a really good job of returning and driving to the player coming to the net. And in this case, it's Len. And as we move this forward, watch. Len does not set his feet, and this leads to an error as he just isn't able to get that backhand on there. Right? He's trying to move too far to the net before hitting that volley. One of the things we see all the time in amateur level play, and even in pro play as we see here. There we go. That's a good, good read. Just a missed drive there. So now we have 4-3-2 out of the 1 seed on offense here. Wow. I mean, look at this. No fear. So I talked about how Len didn't speed this ball up earlier, and Tanner Tomasi took advantage of it coming to the net. But now that Tanner's at the net, I mean, look at this. He just goes full bag, really trying to just force an error out of Tomasi, and he gets it. So what are his options here? Well, he can go middle, but look at Big Rich. I mean, Big Rich wants none of that, right? And I promise you, Len does not want to hit it there, because otherwise it's coming back down their throats. So he goes into Tanner Tomasi's right shoulder area, and again, this makes sense because Tanner's a lefty. And this kind of forces basically a missed shot. It's just as good as a miss because Thomas is able to put the ball away. It's just a really, really good time to attack out of Len there. Really good job. Now we have 3-4-1 as they got the serve back. Yeah, again, Len's a little tight here in his drops, and this is where having a drive becomes so useful. When you're not making your drops, just even throwing a 60% drive in there would really allow you to get to the net easier. And if I was Tomasi here, or Tanner here, I'd definitely be returning to Len as he does there. Oh, and he gets really, really lucky there, which is going to help them at least have a chance at a point here. Oh my goodness, Rich. I mean, he's playing unreal right now. So this is one of those things we talk about. This is kind of a pro shot, and I don't recommend you doing this if you're not a top pro. So this ball that Tomasi gets right here, this is a speed up. You should be speeding this ball up middle, at Len, really anywhere in your lower levels of gameplay. But we're in the third match. They've played probably 50 points at the net. This exact same shot is probably played out a few times. So this time, Tanner's going to go off-speed wide just to show him something new. And while Thomas does handle it, that's one of those things the pros do to kind of keep their opponents honest. And as you can see here, it doesn't end up mattering because Rich just makes an unreal athletic move coming from lacrosse. That's just probably something you can expect. Really, really good out of Rich there to finish off the point. And now we have 4-4-1, so they did a really good job on defense there. That camera angle is horrible, by the way. I'm not sure why they even have that. Look at these. So this is where Len Yang, this is where he thrives. It's this point right here. I mean, look at these hands. So he goes for a bit of a speed up, and again, Tanner's coming back to the court, so he has to kind of move and hit, and he's really awkward. As you can see, he's clearly not comfortable hitting that ball. And Len, look at how fast he gets back up. So he hits this speed up, and then he stands up tall, which is so important for your, after your speed up, your triangle counter or wherever it may be. He's able to get back on it and finish off the point. Pardon the voice crack there, but really good shot out of Len Yang. I'm a little sick as we're getting into the winter season here, but definitely not stopping me from doing analysis. As this is fun. This is a great match to watch. Yeah, nice. So this is a really good flick. And again, we see them picking on this forehand of Len Yang when they're speeding up. It's just a theme, right? They know his backhand so strong. His forehand is good. Again, pro level, but not to the probably top 10 in the world backhand he has in the net. And if you haven't heard of this guy, I definitely suggest you go watch some Len Yang stuff. He won the Nationals with Jack Monroe a few months ago. I don't know. It was some like USAP thing. It was solid. He's very, very good. Yep, and again, we talked about this shot right here a few points ago. I said on this flick, we shouldn't be going middle at Rich. Instead, we should be going at Tanner, which proved successful for him last time because Rich is just going to camp the middle here. This time, the ball's a little too out in front. And first of all, to even get a flick off this shot is absolutely insane. But he does, and Rich realizes that there's really only two places this could possibly ever go. by some miracle, which Len can pull off, it can go in kind of like this zone over here. But more realistically, it's going down the middle. And as you can see, Rich, with no hesitation, just puts that ball away. Really good job in pattern recognition out of Rich there. And now we have a timeout. Let's see. And this is one of the better quarterfinal matches on the APP Tour you're probably ever going to see. This is a very strong pairing of teams here. All right, here we go. We have 5-4 on the one here, and let's see what we can make happen. Tomasi has been very solid in this match. Not a lot of errors, not a lot of point generations, just very solid. I mean, look at this shot. Rich, what are we doing? I mean, that's just beautiful. First of all, good speed up, insane hands to get it back. Let's look at that one more time. Let's look at how he gets back on this ball. I mean, look at this. What even is that? That's just pure reaction. And one of the things that separates Rich, one of the best players in the world, from everyone else, is just that type of get. And after that, he's still in the point, baby. I mean, he's looking, and he's going to go flying here and just hit some crazy, unreal little like flick backhand that goes at a crazy angle for the point win. And he's on fire right now. He's loving it. This is what makes him one of the best players in the world. And if you didn't know, Rich has, he's 25 years old, but he came from a financial background, going to work at a hedge fund, but rather decided to play pickleball instead. So very intelligent dude, great mentality, great mind for the sport, and overall, probably one of the better people, along with Tanner Tomasi, you're going to meet in pickleball. So if you have a chance to get to these APP tours, I definitely recommend you stop by and say hi to both Tanner and Rich, as they are fantastic personalities. And again, with this camera angle, I'm not really sure how we're supposed to watch from that angle. But we're going to... It's a missed shot of Rich. That was a very dumb error. Nothing to really harp on there besides just after commenting his kind of mental ability and how he's very smart, a dumb error there. Yeah, so I think this is one of the things too. Let's just look at Len's feet here and look at what happens. So, yeah, nothing there. It's just a missed shot. Good overhead out of Rich. Now we're at 4-6-2 here. And they need some offense. Yeah, so this is good. So first of all, this is one of the things Tanner does so well, is this shot. I don't really know what that is. It's kind of like an inward-outward punch, as we can see here. I mean, look, his paddle's facing this way, but his arm is punching that way. So I don't really know what that is. It's really good, though, and it's effective, and you can see him do it all the time. His feet are in the air, though, and this is a problem because now, as you can see, Len, he's hunting. He wants this next ball, and if he gets this to anywhere in this area where Tomasi's standing, it's going to be really hard for him to reset this. So let's see what happens here. Oh, and he goes inside out to Rich. Really, really good shot. But one of the things I want to notice is Tomasi, when you're in the air like that, your ability to recounter or counter after the counter becomes limited because your feet aren't set. Yeah, good pressure here out of Tomasi, just to force an error there. And now we're on 6-5-1. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Tomasi, not a lot of impact in this match either. That is sometimes a really good thing, right? Not having a ton of impact means you're not making a lot of errors, but it also means you're not generating a lot of points. That's really come from Len in this match, on both the negative and positive side. But here, he gets his opportunity, he goes for it. And one of the things I really like about this is this can get you in trouble, right? Because if Rich has a really good counter here, and he puts this ball down at his feet, he's going to be in trouble. But he hits this kind of fadeaway speed up, and that's okay because he lands in this zone, resets his feet, knowing that the next ball is probably coming to him, and this allows him to get the next ball down to the feet of his opposition, which leads to a point. Really good job there out of Tomasi. And here we go. Let's see if Tomasi can continue to make an impact here. We have 6-5-2 for Rich and Tanner. Good dink that forces an error out of Len there. Now we have 5-6-1. And this match is becoming closer and closer by the minute with a little more errors you're going to see out of this one seed here, which is causing this match not not to blow out of the water as of right now, because I think Tanner and Richard are actually playing the better match right now. And let's see where they're going to target. Yeah, again, to this Len forehand. Rich is not scared, though, and it's just unreal hands out of both sides. Look at that cleanup out of Tomasi. So, Rich, we talked about his highlight reel this match. He's had a few good ones. This one's a scoop. Really good hands out of Len, but Tanner ultimately prevails. Really good job to win that point there out of both Rich and Tanner to get them back on the serve, and they're fired up. Yeah, Rich is feeling it. So let's just take a sec to just pause. Richard is having a fantastic match so far. Very few errors. I have a feeling he's going to go look for some more balls in this match as he's feeling himself. That can be a negative thing, but at the same time, if he's feeling it and he takes over the match, this match could be over as soon as it started. So let's just keep an eye on Rich here and his choice of shots. Oh, as I just say that again, he makes an error. But my point stands. Let's just continue to look here. Back-to-back errors from Rich. Wow, not making me look good right now. But that's okay. All right, we're back at this net. Let's see what we got here. This is going to be a critical point. Thomas, just a missed error. A lot of errors deep in this third match of the quarterfinals here. These players are tired. This has been over an hour of gameplay at this point. As just this absolute battle of a grind of a match. And there's your first drive we've seen out of you and Yang there. But let's see if it really matters, because at this point, they're back at the same spot as a drop would be. So I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's pretty neutral. Love it. So Rich is just dominating from this kitchen line. And this off-speed really checks out Len Yang. Again, Richard knows that Len is looking to get these backhands to flick. That is his best shot. Probably is the best at it on this APP tour. So what does Rich do? Well, he uses that ability, or that knowledge, and kind of exposes him with a little bit of an off-speed. He catches him off guard, and Len just doesn't have enough time to react and flick to that ball. It's just really, really smart out of Richard there. Good drive. Again, you're probably wondering, if you've watched my recent video, we'll go back and break down that drive and the lack of pressure and talk about it. And that's, let's see if that's going to be a bad call in a minute. But right here, so we talk about this drive, and in the last video, especially in mixed doubles, I really harped on how Tanner needs to be going to crash this ball. But in this situation, I want to provide an alternate perspective. Again, Len Yang, really good backhand, solid forehand. So what are the options? Well, if Rich drives through the middle here on this righty-lefty pair, if Len gets his forehand on that, that could go behind Tomasi and provide a big advantage for the opposition and just be a point over. So that's not a great option if Tanner is going to poach this ball in this area, because he can get overexposed. Additionally, if Rich goes at the body, which is going to end up being in that lack circle, then Tanner's also in trouble down the line and has to cover. Because if he goes and poaches here, then Len can just put it down this line. So in this situation, it makes sense for Tanner not to poach here, as Len has too many options with this backhand. And as a result, they get to the net and it's 50-50 rather than a big risk with little reward out of Tomasi. So good decision there out of both players in Rich and Tanner. Let's take a replay at this. Is it in? Ooh. They're going to call it out. 7-5-2. You can be the judge whether you think that's in or not. I'm not really sure. We didn't really have the best angle at that, so I won't make a comment. But the ball's out, so we're going to call it out here. And here we go. This is another, again, early in the match, I said this match was going to be won and lost at the kitchen line. That ball looks like it was, let's take a look. That looks like it was going to be out there. In. So 8-5-2. And here we go. This makes all the difference. So I just talked about this, right? When should you poach and when do you not? Last time it didn't make sense to poach. This time it does. Because, oh boy. Why do I have to run that back? Okay, sorry. This time it makes sense to poach. Because look, now ideally Tanner should not be going at the middle here. because that just doesn't make sense, because then Thomas, you can put it behind Rich, and that gets Rich in a lot of trouble. So what are Tanner's real options? Well, he has really two. He can go at Thomas, but if he goes at Thomas, he needs to go at this right side of his body so that Rich isn't exposed down this line. And if he goes at Len as his alternative option, then Len, he just needs to put it in a spot where Len can't get the ball behind Rich. And if those two things play out, then now Rich just has to cover basically a third of the court in the middle third of the court, and he doesn't have to worry about his line, which leads to a really good poach opportunity, which we see here. And although he misses the volley, it's just really, really good out of Tanner and Rich, both in the drive and the poach. It's something you should be taking into your game, right? These are the mental decisions you have to think of when you drive and poach, or drive and crash, and it works or it doesn't. Try to think about why that happens, and where the drive went and where the poacher went, and see what went wrong. And if you start to do that, you'll start to understand how things work and how things don't. Missed flick there out of Len, which is fine. Now we have 8-5-1 on the offense for, let's see, for Tanner and Rich. And in my mind, they need to kind of close it out here. They have all the momentum on their side, some unforced errors out of their opposition. And this is really where matches are won in the APP Tour, right? It's these back few moments when errors are already being caused, and can they capitalize here? And Rich with a fantastic counter. First of all, this is dangerous from Tomasi, going into the body of Len Yang. I mean, he is unreal from this position. But Rich is able to hit a really, really good counter to win the point. Now we have 9-5-1. We're going to get a missed drop out of Tomasi. A little tight there, nothing to worry about. We're at 9-5-2. Can we capitalize? If not, they're going to be on the stack, which is going to be, a little more challenging. Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness. I mean, they're all extremely tired at this point in the match. But look at this. So we get the ball to the net. We see it speed up out of Thomas, which we haven't seen a lot in this third match. And just a hands battle, a tired hands battle, but one that's really good and is able to get them the point to net them 2 match point here in our third set. Let's see. I really like this drive when you're tired, because it just minimizes a lot of the error. Oh! So, when we talk about when you're tired, at 10-5-2 in the third set of an hour and 15-minute match, what's the correct decision here? Is it drive? Is it drop? Well, we've seen that these opponents haven't been capitalizing off bad drives, so you might as well just throw in a 60% drive and use your fifth as a drop, because it just leads to so much greater percentage of chance to get to the net than if you drop in the third when you're extremely tired and you may be tight. And that's exactly what Rich does here. So when you're in trouble and you're tired, just do that, because now look what you see. Now the point becomes 50-50 as all 4 players in the net. So if you're tired in tight matches and the opponents can't put away your drives, drive, then drop. And now we have 5-10-1. It's going to be a challenge to get back in this match down 5, but it's not impossible. But another unforced error there out of Thomas, which is not going to help. And let's see if they can muster up some energy to get back into this match. Thomas is very tired, making a lot of errors in the back half of this match. Not even the back half, just the last really 10 points or so. Another timeout here, and we have 10-5-1. The spirits of Len and Thomas do not look great here. If I was the betting man, I would say this match ends on this possession. Really good, really, really good out of Rich here. Oh, and he misses it. But let's just look at this, because I like this a lot. Again, we see a bad drive out of Tanner. It's high to the middle of a lefty. So what Rich does is he says, shoot, I have to set my feet and plant. So he does that originally, yep. And now reset again, he goes high again. Look at Rich's wide base. Feet are set, wide base. This is the winning formula to a reset, especially in the midcourt. So, I mean, just learn from Rich here, is it's so good. Again, sets his feet, gets the net. Now it's a match. Even though they lose the point, it's just so good to even be in that point for Richard there. And here we go. Can they win it here on this point? This is going to be a big one. Tomasi playing off the line, giving Tanner a lot of room to work with. Are they going to... Yeah, they're going to keep the ball away from Rich as much as they can. And this is just filthy. I mean, when we talk about Len Yang, we talk about this shot. Absolutely disgusting. Down 5-10 on match point. He's hitting that. I mean, Tanner, all he can do is watch. So let's break this down how this actually happens. This is a shot not a lot of players have in their bag, right? But Len, this is like music to his ears. His eyes light up when he sees a ball that he can go flick. And the thing with Len is he can put this ball in a few different spots. He can go at Tanner's left shoulder, which he's done once or twice in this match, hasn't worked. He can go at Tanner's right shoulder, which has worked once or twice in this match. Or, because his name is Len Yang, he can go anywhere in this blue circle cross court because that's just the grip he uses, the flick he has, it's disgusting. This time, though, he decides to go down the line of Tanner Tomasi because he knows it's not an option he's really seen yet. This is not something Tanner's seen, especially at match point. It's just a gutsy call and something that Len Yang does so well. If you're going to learn a flick, learn from Len. And here we go. Now we have 5-10-1. They're, again, back in this match. Let's see. They're surviving here. Good. Oh, and he just misses another tired reset, right? This is the shot that Len Yang makes probably 8 out of 10 times. He's just really tired. A lot of unforced errors out of Len and Thomas here. Let's see. Again, Thomas used so far back off this line. He's making his life really hard when it comes to dinking, especially when you're tired. Oh, so one of the things we talk about is at the line. We've talked about women doing this a lot, is when to stand back off the line and when not to. And in this situation, I actually don't love that Tomasi is back here. And the reason I say that is because, again, we talked about they're an hour and 15 minutes in this match. He's tired. And every time he wants to dink cross-court, look at how low he has to get. He takes 3 steps and is bending his knee almost into a full squat. Versus, look at Tanner, right? 1 step and bending half knee into a squat. It's just the energy expended is so much greater when you take steps back like that, especially when you're tired. So when you are tired, maybe just stay a little closer to the line, hit a few scoop dinks off the rise, and it won't hurt you as bad, and lead to less error in general. And here we go. Again, 10-6-1. If it doesn't end here, then I think Len and Thomas might have a rejuvenated sense of energy to go win this match. Again, I really like it out of Rich, right? He uses this soft drive first to get to this net. Then they're going to win the game on this amazing flick here. Talk about a flick, right? We just talked about Len's flick. But look at this. He snaps his wrist. Look at his wrist right now, right? He's going to do a full windshield wiper snap, and it's going to end up kind of in this body area of Len Yang, right? So it's just really solid to win the match on this flick. And after an hour and 15-minute grueler to get to the semifinal, that feels really good. And eventually they go on to win the tournament. So it's just really strong out of Richard and Tanner, with Richard, again, being the dominant player on that court and proving why he's one of the best in the APP Tour, and if not one of the best in the world. So that's going to do it for today's video. A little bit longer because this match was just kind of a grueler. Let me know down in the comments, again, what you guys want to see going forward. APP, MLP, amateur, pro, college, whatever it may be. Mixed, singles, women's, men's, whatever. So let me know, and don't forget to follow and subscribe down below. All right, see you guys later.